Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. We're going to be reading the rest of Fragment 2, which is called The Two Paths, and we're still reading the book, The Voice of the Silence, written by H.P. Blavatsky. Before we get started, though, I want to show you something really, really cool. This came off of my rose bush. It was actually on the ground. It fell on the ground, but it is a double bud, if you can see that back here, and it's in the shape of a heart. And my husband found it on the ground and brought it into me. And sadly, it's got a really short little stem because it fell, but I do have it in water and it smells so, so good. But I just wanted to share that with you. Hearts show up for me in all sorts of ways. Maybe it's because I look for them, but a long time ago, I made a deal with my dad, who passed away when I was in my 20s, to show me hearts to let me know that he was around. And he always shows me hearts all the time. I find them and I always take a picture of them or keep them if I can. And that was something that came to me yesterday. So I wanted to share that. Anyways, let's get going with the rest of this this fragment of the book. So we were talking about Shanga's robe and also talking about the three essences of Buddha, which is just enlightenment. There is the ascended master, Gautama Buddha, and that means enlightenment. So Shanga's robe and one of the essences of enlightenment, or emanating Buddha's body, so to speak, is Nirmanakaya. So that's what we left off talking about. So to don Nirmanakaya's humble robe is to forego eternal bliss for self, to help on man's salvation. To reach nirvana's bliss, but to renounce it, is the supreme, the final step, the highest on renunciation's path. Know, O disciple, this is the secret path, selected by the Buddhas of perfection, who sacrificed the self to weaker selves. Yet if the doctrine of the heart is too high-winged for thee, if thou needest help thyself and fearest to offer help to others, then thou of timid heart be warned in time. Remain content with the I doctrine of the law. Hope still. For if the secret path is unattainable this day, it is within thy reach tomorrow. Learn that, oh, wait a minute, tomorrow has a number by it, which means there is some clarification. So let's read that before we move on. Tomorrow, so T-O-morrow, means the following rebirth or reincarnation. So they're not technically talking about today and tomorrow. They're talking about this life or the next after that. We have no way of knowing. So it is within thy reach tomorrow. Learn that no efforts, not the smallest, whether in right or wrong direction, can vanish from the world of causes. Even wasted smoke remains not traceless. A harsh word uttered in past lives is not destroyed, but ever comes again. The pepper plant will not give birth to roses, nor the sweet jessamine's silver star to thorn or thistle turn. Thou canst create this day thy chances for thy morrow. In the great journey, or the whole complete cycle of existence in one round. That's what the great journey means. In the great journey, causes sown each hour bear its harvest of effects, for rigid justice rules the world. With mighty sweep of never-erring action, it brings to mortals lives of weal or woe, the karmic progeny of all our former thoughts and deeds. Take then as much merit hath in store for thee, O thou of patient heart. Be of good cheer and rest content with fate. Such is thy karma, the karma of the cycle of thy births, the destiny of those who in their pain and sorrow are born along with thee. Rejoice and weep from life to life, chained to thy previous actions. Act thou for them today, and they will act for thee tomorrow. 'Tis from the bud of renunciation of the self that springeth the sweet fruit of final liberation. To perish doomed is he, who out of fear of Mara refrains from helping man, lest he should act for self. The pilgrim who would cool his weary limbs in running waters, yet dares not plunge for terror of the stream, risks to succumb from heat. Inaction based on selfish fear can bear but evil fruit. The selfish devotee lives to no purpose. The man who does not go through his appointed work in life has lived in vain. Follow the wheel of life. Follow the wheel of duty to race and kin, to friend and foe, and close thy mind to pleasures as to pain. Exhaust the law of karmic retribution. Gain cities for thy future birth. If sun thou canst not be, then be the humble planet. If thou art debarred from flaming like the noonday sun upon the snow-capped mount of purity eternal, then choose, O neophyte, a humbler course. Point out the way, however dimly, and lost among the host, as does the evening star to those who tread their path in darkness. Behold Migmar, or Mars, as in his crimson veils his eye sweeps over slumbering earth. Behold the fiery aura of the hand of Lakpa, or Mercury, extended in protecting love over the heads of his ascetics. And in my last video, I wasn't sure what ascetics was. Basically, it is a person who lives a life of rigorous and extreme, I don't want to say religious, but ritualistic and maybe even ritualistic discipline. That's what an ascetic is. Both are now servants to Naima, or the sun, left in his absence, silent watchers in the night. Yet both in Kalpas were bright Naimas, and may in future days again become two suns. And that is S-U-N. Such are the falls and rises of the karmic law in nature. Be, O Lanu, like them. Give light and comfort to the toiling pilgrim, and seek out him who knows still less than thou, who in his wretched desolation sits starving for the bread of wisdom, and the bread which feeds the shadow, without a teacher, hope, or consolation, and let him hear the law. Tell him, O candidate, that he who makes of pride and self-regard bond maidens to devotion, that he who cleaving to existence still lays his patience and submission to the law, as a sweet flower at the feet of Shakya Thubpa, and that is Buddha, becomes a Stratapati, and that is how you say it. I looked up the pronunciation, and let me tell you exactly what that is. He who enters in the stream of nirvana, unless he reaches the goal owing to some exceptional reasons, can rarely attain nirvana in one birth. Usually, a chela is said to begin the ascending effort in one life and end or reach it only in his seventh succeeding birth. And a chela is also a student, usually of an ascended master. All right. Now I lost my place. I've been pretty good about finding it when I have to flip over. Oh. Okay. Becomes a Stratapati in his birth. The cities of perfection may loom far, far away, but the first step is taken, the stream is entered, and he may again gain the eyesight of the mountain eagle, the hearing of the timid doe. Tell him, O aspirant, that true devotion may bring him back the knowledge, that knowledge which was his in former births. The diva sight and diva hearing are not obtained in one short birth. So, in layman's terms, you won't be obtaining these things in one lifetime. It is something to strive for and work towards. Be humble if thou wouldst attain to wisdom. Be humbler still when wisdom thou hast mastered. Be like the ocean which receives all streams and rivers. The ocean's mighty calm remains unmoved. It feels them not. Restrain by thy divine thy lower self. restrained by the eternal, the divine. I, great is he who is the slayer of desire. Still greater he in whom the self-divine has slain the very knowledge of desire. Guard thou the lower lest it soil the higher. The way to final freedom is within thyself. That way begins and ends outside of self, and that is capitalized S. And let's see what that terminology means for self, capitalized. Meaning the personal lower self. Okay. Unpraised by men and humble is the mother of all rivers. In Tirthika's proud sight, empty the human form, though filled with Amrita's sweet waters, in the sight of fools. Withal, the birthplace of the sacred rivers is the sacred land. And the sacred land... So first, let's just clarify, Tirthikas are the Brahmanical sectarians beyond the Himalayas called infidels by the Buddhists in the sacred land, Tibet, and vice versa. And he who wisdom hath is honored by all men. Arhans and sages of the boundless vision or psychic superhuman sight. An Arhan is credited with seeing and knowing all at a distance as well as on the spot. And he who wisdom hath is honored by all men. I already read that. Arhans and sages of the boundless vision are rare, as is the blossom of the Udambara tree. Arhans are born at midnight hour, together with the sacred plant of 9 and 7 stalks. Vidi supra, the Shanga plant. So the 7 stalks is the Shanga plant. The holy flower that opes and blooms in darkness, out of the pure dew and on the frozen bed of snow-capped heights, heights that are trodden by no sinful foot. No Arhan, O Lanu, becomes one in that birth, when for the first the soul begins to long for final liberation. Yet, O thou anxious one, no warrior volunteering fight in the fierce strife between the living and the dead. What number is that? 32. The living, in parentheses, is the immortal higher ego, and the dead, in parentheses, the lower personal ego. Not one recruit can ever be refused by the right to enter on the path that leads toward the field of battle. For either he shall win or he shall fall. If he conquers, nirvana shall be his. Before he casts his shadow off his mortal coil, that pregnant cause of anguish and illimitable pain, in him will men a great and holy Buddha honor. And if he falls, even then he does not fall in vain. The enemies he slew in the last battle will not return to life in the next birth that will be his. But if thou wouldest nirvana reach or cast the prize away, and we've already spoken of that's going to be in part 3. For some reason, that's all it says is to see part 3. Let not the fruit of action and inaction be thy motive, thou of dauntless heart. Know that the Bodhisattva who liberation changes for renunciation to don the miseries of secret life, and secret life is life as a Nirmanakaya, the essence of Buddha, or one of the 3 essences of Buddha to be exact. I lost it again. Okay. Is called thrice honored. So to don the miseries of secret life is called thrice honored. O thou candidate for woe throughout the cycles. The path is one, disciple, yet in the end twofold. Marked are its stages by 4 and 7 portals. At one end, bliss immediate, and at the other, bliss deferred. Both are of merit the reward. The choice is thine. The one becomes the two, the open and the secret. The open and the secret path, or the one taught to the layman, the exoteric and the generally accepted, and the other, the secret path, the nature of which is explained at initiation. So what we just read, the open and the secret. The first one leadeth to the goal, the second to self-immolation. When to the permanent is sacrificed the mutable, the prize is thine. The drop returneth whence it came. The open path leads to the changeless change, nirvana, the glorious state of absoluteness, the bliss past human thought. Thus, the first path is liberation. But path the second is renunciation, and therefore called the path of woe. That secret path leads the Arhan to mental woe unspeakable, woe for the living dead. And let's see what the living dead is referring to. Men ignorant of the esoteric truths and wisdom are called the living dead. And helpless pity for the men of karmic sorrow. The fruit of karma sages dare not still. For it is written, teach to eschew all causes, the ripple of effect. As the great tidal wave, thou shalt let run its course. The open way, no sooner hast thou reached its goal, will lead thee to reject the bodhisattvic body, and make thee enter the thrice glorious state of Dharmakaya, which is oblivion of the world and men forever. And there is a number next to the Dharmakaya, so let's see if there's anything additional. No, we've already gone over it. For some reason, they put a number, but it already says IBID or IBID, which means it's something we've already covered previously. The secret way leads also to a parinirvanic bliss, but at the close of kalpas without number. Nirvana's gained and lost from boundless pity and compassion for the world of deluded mortals. But it is said, the last shall be the greatest. Samyak Sambuddha, the teacher of perfection, gave up his self, all capitalized self, for the salvation of the world by stopping at the threshold of nirvana, the pure state. Thou hast the knowledge now concerning the two ways. Thy time will come for choice, O thou of eager soul, when thou hast reached the end and passed the 7 portals. Thy mind is clear. No more art thou entangled in delusive thoughts, for thou hast learned all. Unveiled stands truth and looks thee sternly in the face. She says, sweet are the fruits of rest and liberation for the sake of self, but sweeter still the fruits of long and bitter duty. I, renunciation for the sake of others, of suffering fellow men. He who becomes Pratyeka Buddha, and Pratyeka Buddha are those bodhisattvas who strive after and often reach the Dharmakaya robe after a series of lives, caring nothing for the woes of mankind or to help it, but only for their own bliss. They enter nirvana and disappear from the sight and the hearts of men. In Northern Buddhism, a Pratyeka Buddha is a synonym of spiritual selfishness. You can guess that I did it again. He who becomes Pratyeka Buddha makes his obeisance but to himself. The bodhisattva who has won the battle, who holds the prize within his palm, yet says in his divine compassion, for others' sake this great reward I yield, accomplishes the greater renunciation. A savior of the world is he. Behold, the goal of bliss and the long path of woe are at the furthest end. Thou canst choose either, O aspirant to sorrow, throughout the coming cycles. Om Vajrapani Hum, which is a mantra. That's what it's ending with. So that is the end of Fragment 2 in our book. This book is obviously not very straightforward, but I am really enjoying it. I was actually thinking of not reading it after I looked at it further, but I had already put the short out and I thought, you know what, I'm going to commit to this, and the people that feel pulled to listen to this, whether it's one person or 50, will listen to it. Just like I was pulled to buy it and read it, and I feel resonated to do so. I wasn't sure about reading it out loud, not because it's a harder read, but because it's a deeper read. And I wasn't sure if anyone was going to enjoy it. So even if just one person, even if it's just myself, you never know down the line who might find it and may need it. But even if that is the case, I am okay with that. So we're going to stop obviously right there at the end of Fragment 2. And on our last fragment, I believe it's our last fragment. Let me double check. I think there was 3 in this book. Let me see. These pages stuck together. I have that rose right next to me and it smells so good. Okay, so yeah, Fragment 3 is only about 20 pages. It's a little bit longer, but about 20 pages. The glossary takes up more than the book. It goes from, well, it's about as long as the book. So the next fragment we're going to be reading is titled The 7 Portals. So I'll be taking a look at that, highlighting, underlining, and clarifying any words that we need to. And I will be making our next video doing the first half of Fragment 3 very soon. So that is it for this time. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, take care of yourself. Take care of those around you. I'm making this video on a Thursday night. I'll be posting it on Friday. So have a beautiful weekend if you catch this video then, or a beautiful week wherever you are in your week or in your day when you get this. I hope you all have a beautiful day, a beautiful night. I will see you all again soon. I love you very, very much. I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.